What's up everyone, my name is REDRUP and you're listening to the It's Not a Phase podcast. My guest this time around is all four of the guys in Until I Wake to talk about their debut album, Inside My Head. We discuss writing and recording the full length, how it compares to creating an EP, working with different sounds and influences so early in their career, signing with Fearless Records, the importance for bands to brand themselves and plan out their releases, and loads more. Now, if you enjoyed this or any other episode of the podcast and you want to show your support, there's a few ways that you can do that. Number one, leave a rating and review wherever you're listening to this. It takes just a few seconds and it really does help. Number two, share this on your social media, whether that be Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever. Or number three, if you want to go the extra mile, you can pay a little bit each month to join the Patreon, and in return you'll get access to episodes early along with some of our perks, or you can pick up some merch from the store. All the links to that and the podcast socials can be found at itsnotaphase.co.uk. That's itsnotaphase.co.uk. And now with all that out of the way, let's jump right into this week's episode of It's Not a Phase. What's up everybody? Thanks for joining me on this episode of It's Not a Phase, where I'm joined by all four of the guys in Until I Wake. How you guys doing?
Great, man.
Wonderful.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm great, man. Great, man. Thanks again for joining me today. Now, I hate to start with a kind of cliche question, but you guys, you know, in the grand scheme of things, are a relatively new band. How did you kind of form, and when and how did you come up with the name Until I Wake for the band?
Well, it formed in the beginning. It was actually January of 2019 is when we started building the band. And then really for that entire year up until January of 2020, it was just, you know, writing songs, building ideas for the band and everything. And then, you know, January of 2020 is when we debuted with Sinking Under. And then we just kept putting music out from that point. As far as the name, CODY actually thought of the name. We went through a couple different names. The last name that actually we were going by for a while was called Look Alive. And it just didn't stick. Nothing resonated about it. It just didn't hit. And then CODY thought of Until I Wake. And we're like, hell yeah, sounds great. So
that'll do.
So was it basically just writing a load of songs within that 2019, then up until obviously the COVID pandemic hit in 2020? So I guess that kind of derailed your initial plans.
It was actually
helped us.
Yeah.
We had all the intentions on just releasing this catalog of songs and just hammering away, you know, with like all the social media marketing and all that, and just keeping up with constant releases.
Yeah. So you said it kind of like helped you kind of plan out your strategy.
Yeah. During COVID, all everybody was doing is browsing the web, finding new music, watching music videos. So like, you know, that mixed with the marketing on social media has brought it to everybody's attention. And they're all like, oh, let's click this and go look and listen, whatever. And, you know, because that's all everybody's doing. So it worked out perfectly.
So
these
songs
in our favor
compiled then, or was there quite a lot of writing going on through the lockdowns as well?
It was actually kind of difficult because like, so we do a lot of traveling. Like we travel to Michigan for, you know, to go to the studio. And then we travel to New Jersey to do our music videos. Mm-hmm. So with the lockdown, obviously there were travel restrictions in place and things were just a lot trickier at the time.
Yeah.
So as we were building this, there was actually a level of difficulty to it because, you know, we had to plan around those lockdowns or those restrictions, you know, in order to do the music videos and everything. Not like we really had deadlines for anything because, you know, we weren't released yet. But it was tricky. But we spent the better part of that year of 2019 building, you know, music videos, songwriting, recording, photo shoots, things of that nature.
I guess that kind of shows the effectiveness of kind of like having a plan, because there's so many bands that kind of just, they write a song and record it and they want to put it out straight away. Whereas, you know, you've got to kind of build a brand and an identity so that when there's this stockpile of music, you can just kind of push it in the right way, I suppose.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because, you know, with so many bands out there, you don't want to get like kind of lost in the sea of thousands of
easy
other
to do. Very oversaturated.
Yeah, before we were signed, we definitely, luckily Ryan's pretty savvy with the marketing and all that stuff. So we definitely put a lot of time and thought into like how and when we were gonna release things. We didn't just want to throw it at the wall and see if it stuck.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and so many bands do that and occasionally it works, but other times it's just like it kind of just goes into a sea of crickets.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
So much music out there and they're not going to just listen to your album just because it came out, you know. So stretching out their releases definitely has helped us tremendously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So obviously the big news is you guys putting out the debut full length, Inside My Head. How are you kind of feeling about finally putting that out into the world for the fans to hear?
Excited, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked.
Because everybody's been like, no amount of single releases is enough. Everybody just wants the whole album. Like, it doesn't matter if we release 10 singles, which would make an album. Everybody's like, I want the album, like the actual like this album, physical. I want to listen to it on Spotify or Apple Music, front to back, everything like that. So it's like, you know, they're always just ready for more.
Felt like an eternity waiting to release this album. Honestly, it's really only been a year and a half, but it feels like so much longer.
So talk to me about like writing and recording that, because, you know, obviously you put your self-titled EP out last year. Was that kind of like some of the songs from the album was recorded back then, and you've just kind of like just selected those few songs to go on the EP, and then you've carried on with what would be a full length?
We literally went into the studio and started right from scratch. Everything was brand new. Because we didn't really want to recycle anything. We didn't want to pull anything out, you know, from the EP or anything like that. It was actually talked about throwing like a song or two from the EP on the album, but then we're like, nah, let's just do all new songs. That way, everybody has fresh, new, you know, content to listen to for a while.
We actually did, though, the only song we did have intentions on using for the album was going to be Nightmares, but instead, Fearless wanted us to start completely fresh with them. They made Nightmares later on down the road, part of the EP. So when we were originally like selling the EP and pushing the EP, we didn't have Nightmares on it until we debuted with them with Nightmares. And then they're like, okay, we'll make the song, the EP a 6-song EP. And then we start from scratch for this album.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you originally put it out prior to being signed, and then you put it out kind of again.
We sold like our own physical copies. I think we only sold like a couple hundred of them. So some people out there have a rare original EP that's missing Nightmares and also has a typo on the back.
A typo.
Yeah. Instead of mixed signals, it says mixed signals or something. Mixed singles.
Yeah. Mixed singles. Yeah.
So they could sell that for a few bucks now then.
Maybe.
Probably 5 or 6.
Like a collector's item, basically.
Yeah.
So when it came to, you know, putting together the full length, how did on your side of things, how did that kind of compare to doing an EP? Obviously, the full length's longer, so you've got to consider like flexing what you guys can do, the different sounds and stuff, because obviously you incorporate quite a few different genres into that record. Especially, you know, you've got songs like Reasons and Undeserving, which they're different from one another as well as all the other tracks on there.
Oh,
Would you say there's a lot to consider in comparison?
I'm pretty sure before we even like started writing the actual songs, we kind of like compiled like a spreadsheet or list of like the different types like of sounds we want to have. So like we want like this many like metalcore heavy songs, we want this many like rock songs, we want a couple slow songs. So we like plotted out exactly how many of which type of song we're going to be in the album, and then we started writing, just banging them out.
We really wanted the album to be very experimental too, and just, you know, kind of, you know, not all over the place, but definitely very diverse, you know, definitely different things to listen to. So it's not the same damn song over and over again 13 times.
Yeah, everybody in the band has like different inspirations, like musically, like, but we all come together at rock and metalcore, you know, like, but we have a lot of similarities. Like we'll listen to hip hop and rap music and stuff, but like, then you've got like the low end, like Alex's favorite band is Lamb of God. So like we have to incorporate that heaviness from Lamb of God or something like that, you know? So we wanted to have, you know, a deathcore song basically on the album, heavier stuff on the album. And then we throw in a little bit of that like rap hip hop style into some of the songs, like here and there, whatever, you know, and like it kind of was cool because we were able to form something that pulled in all of the influences, but still it's Until I Wake and it's sick.
Yeah. Caters to a little bit of everybody, which is like super nice. Like my dad will listen to like a couple songs, then another one comes on with all the scream music. Can you shut that off, please? So at least he likes a couple, you know what I mean? So that's pretty nice.
I guess that kind of helps as well when you're trying to get tour deals as well, because you can kind of cater a set list to whatever tour package you're on.
Yeah, exactly. For sure. And we definitely thought about that.
And then it kind of helps as well, especially when you do it on a debut album, when you do like further records, you know, whether they're full lengths or EPs, there's going to be less of a kind of shock or potentially even a backlash from fans saying, why the hell have you gone this direction? You've never done that before.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
We've always done that.
Now fans can't hear a song and like completely be blown be like turned off by, because like they gotta expect that we do a lot of different sounds.
Yeah, you're not going to be sellouts, as they like to throw out.
Exactly.
Yeah, no.
Like we had the intentions, like every intention, like going into the signing with Fearless, it's like we have to release like some songs that we feel are like bops, like songs that will be big. So like we'll release like some songs that are more like radio rock driven. And then people are probably like, oh, now they're on Fearless. They probably sold out. Now this and that. And then we're like, no. Here's a straight up metalcore song. And then you listen to the album and you're like, here's a deathcore song. Here's like a song with rap incorporated. Here's the sad song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
song for all occasions.
Yeah.
And it's it makes it more fun to listen to too. It makes the album more fun to listen to. Like there's some bands I listen to, that, don't get me wrong, I love them. I love their music, but I listen to the album all the way through and I'm like, man, like
it sounds like one long song.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't really take me on a road.
I guess that makes it nice as well. When fans, you can kind of ask fans, what's your favorite song? And so many times, bands will have like, predominantly there'll be this one song that most fans love, but because you've got such a diverse thing, there's something for everyone. You could ask one fan and they'll be like, oh, Fake's my favorite song, or Reasons is my favorite song. And it kind of shakes things up there as well for you.
Yeah, it's been interesting to hear which songs people kind of pick, because you never really know which one. Yeah. It's sometimes, a lot of times it's a song that we were like, oh, really? That we didn't really think of that one as
didn't
like
expect
one of the better ones, but yeah. So it's always fun to hear what people like.
So with so much experimentation you guys have done on this record, was there anything that you kind of tried to do when it didn't quite fit, it didn't quite work, and you kind of put that to a side?
Yeah, I mean, I think there was like an instrumental that I just wasn't feeling. It just didn't catch me. I don't know why. It was just something about it. But yeah, I know sometimes we'll start something and it doesn't work, and maybe we'll rework it, or sometimes we'll throw it away or scrap it, or take certain parts of it,
resurrect it.
I guess if you have like songs that don't quite, at least they're good songs, but they don't quite fit the theme of the album, you could always do it as like a standalone single or a B-side later down the line if it came to that.
There was nothing there was nothing that made it to like vocal recording that we scrapped though. It usually we know just from the instrumental, and so luckily we didn't like record vocals on anything, and then we're like, that doesn't belong on the album. Like everything we went into the vocal booth with, we used.
Well, that's good. No wasted time then. Well, minimal wasted time, I suppose.
Yeah.
Oh no. Maybe a little. Not.
So I want to talk to you as well about the intro track for the album, because you've got like that intro, the Sacrifice, which is kind of like an opening kind of declaration of this. It's kind of like worshipping
the stage.
Gods. Yeah, sets the stage.
Forsaken.
How did the idea of that kind of come about to introduce the record? Because you could have done that, or you could have just gone straight into the Forsaken without that, I suppose.
I think I like video games and fantasy and nerdy stuff. So I just thought it'd be fun to do like a crazy monologue that's like just over the top like that. And then if you've heard it, so the screaming guy getting dragged is actually Ryan's voice, and then I'm the guy doing the narration.
We're comparing it to like Diablo, if you've ever heard or played Diablo, because like we're fans of that stuff. So when Cody was just going at it was just so funny, because like then we would go and listen to like Deckard Cain and like Diablo like speaking through the game or whatever, and we're like, dude, this literally sounds like it could be like a game cinematic sound.
It kind of sounded a bit to me like the Mick Gordon Doom soundtrack, when the spoken parts in between where he's talking about the Doomslayer. I don't know if you've heard that.
Yeah, that's super heavy. Yeah, we definitely listened to it on the first tour, I'm pretty sure.
Our song Blue Beam is actually like the first draft of the instrumental was very Doom inspired when we wrote that instrumental.
Yeah, it was like tuned way, way lower and everything.
So I think of all your videos so far for the record, for the singles, you've gone with the same director, and forgive me if I butcher the surname, Alex Kouvatsos. Is that it?
Yeah. Is it? Yeah.
Kouvatsos. Yeah.
I think right. Yeah. I was called, so I mess it up. I say Gustavos.
Yeah. We started with him, and he's just never let us down yet, and he just keeps getting better and better, and he's kind of grown with us. So we're just gonna keep seeing what we can do with him. We might, eventually reach out to other people to do some like other stuff that we wouldn't be able to do with him. Like I know we really want to do a video with Ori McGinnis, who's pretty big in our type of music scene. I think he does all Bad Omens music videos. So it'd be cool to do some of that, but we'll always, I think, keep going back to Alex as well.
He does a lot of CGI that we kind of want to try out. Like he did a lot of the new Wage War music videos.
Right.
And very, very, very sick. So it'd be cool to get some of that going, because a lot of our music, all of our music videos actually are just, either us performing in a live, environment, or
story scenes and stuff
story
like that.
scenes, so
stuff we act out ourselves, which is what I prefer to do, is like actually write us into the videos, like acting, and we'll bring in other people. Like we've had a few girls that help us, but I always preferred the route of us actually like being the characters in the video and not like just having it completely like actors that aren't us as like the story stuff.
So what do you think Alex kind of brings to the table that represents not only the songs visually that you've put together, but also, representing you guys visually as a band, and what your kind of message and brand is, I suppose?
Yeah, he definitely brings some great ideas to the table.
Yeah, he brings a vibe in the music videos that, it just definitely defines how we want the imagery of the songs to feel, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, because Cody will throw out his idea, and then they just go off back and forth with each other, and it just turns out to what you see.
Alex was the videographer. Alex, not our Alex. He actually thought of the idea to have August in the body bag at the end of the "Hope You're Happy" video.
A little twist at the end.
He'll bring little cool ideas like that in there.
Yeah,
which was a really cool concept. For sure.
And I like the fact too that like we're like learning and growing together, and we have like all this experience built together and chemistry and stuff, so it's easy for him to feel out like everything that we're going for, and it just gets better. And like, I feel like that's kind of our thing, is like, instead of like jumping around to different people and having to like rework the chemistry and learn new people, it's cool to like work with the same people, build with them, build that chemistry. They know what we've done in the past, what we're looking for in the future. He knows that we want to keep everything feeling like fresh, like you're watching a new video, not the same video like 3 times. So like every time we'll implement something different, and we try to aim for something different. Like we had that one room where, we're just like against mirrors with like the lights all over the place. And whereas a lot of people were like, oh, this is done before by these people and this and that, we're like, yeah, not by us. So like now it's our turn to do it. It's our turn now.
It's always smooth working with them. We just show up, we bang it out, and it's like, that's why I think another reason I just love working with them, because we already have a chemistry with them.
Yeah, there's no like complications. It's just like, show up, all right, set your shit up, and let's go.
I guess sticking with the same director as well, even though the videos aren't, linked in terms of like a plot or anything like that, there is kind of the link of it's the same style, sort of, because it's the same director, they've got the same kind of stamp on it.
Well, we actually did add a couple like links to the EP music videos, like Nightmares, Sinking Under, and Self-Medicated. Are all kind of like in the same like universe, and there's like little Easter eggs from those, like all kind of like connecting them a little bit. We haven't done that with any of the new stuff yet, but I'd definitely like to do that again if once we continue doing music videos, is kind of like connect them in like a Marvel multiverse cool kind of way like that.
Yeah, so I guess like especially like the diehard fans as well, they'll notice that, and they'll laugh that up, won't they?
It's the UIWU. The Until I Wake universe.
So of course you guys signed to Fearless last July, I think, or at least that's when kind of was made public that you guys signed with them. What's it been like working with them as a label?
I think it's been amazing.
Awesome.
And
it's
only getting better. The more that we like build relationships with people, and everything's more like personal and stuff, and like you could just send a text quick if you need something, or if you're looking for something, whatever. So everybody's feels like family oriented, really, and like it's just growing. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
And I feel like they have like a lot of faith in us. Like basically, people are probably going to figure out sooner than later, but we're already getting ready to go to the studio to work on album 2. So
okay, that's quick.
So
and they haven't really put too many roadblocks in front of us. Like all of our ideas and everything like we've wanted to do and everything we present to them, they're usually on board with, and they're like, oh yeah, that's sick. So some people think that like if you get signed, like the record label's gonna like control the band and how it sounds, and like with Fearless, that's not the case at all.
Not at all.
Yeah. And like they respect to like the people that we want to like work with. Like if we bring in like anybody, like as far as like our producers or the videographers go, you know, they're like, okay, like this is cool, let's build onto this team more, you know, rather than, oh, what if we try working with this person instead or that person instead? You know, like if we work on a music video with Ori, it's like it's going to be Alex and Ori working on a cool video for us together. You know, like if, you know, we're bringing in like another producer or somebody to help with like any writing and stuff like that on the album, like, you know, it's like, okay, bring them in, but they're going to work with your guys' current producers and stuff like that. Like everybody works hand in hand rather than like trying to replace, you know, the people that we've been working with. And that's really cool too. And I respect that a lot. It's sweet.
Yeah, because our producers, just like kind of like Alex at Black Wolf, our videographer, our producers also are like our good dear friends now, and we just love those dudes and we love working with them. So we'll always like the team that we've built, the people that we work with. It's like a family. We stick together, and we don't have any plans of really changing up too much. We'll bring other people in, like Ryan was saying, but the core of that team is we always are going to stick with that.
Yeah.
Build and grow.
That's super refreshing, isn't it? Like, you know, because you guys are brand new on that label, but they're still kind of giving you the trust and respect that they kind of, you know, like they trust you to actually get the job done. And it's not like they want to get all their hands over it to make sure that you're a band that can be trusted.
They have a lot of faith in us.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
They definitely do.
So how did that signing come about? Did they approach you? Did you approach them? How did that kind of happen?
So in November... Yeah, in November of what was it, 2020. So we debuted in January 25th, 2020. And by November, they were emailing us trying to figure everything out. And we were trying to announce the signing on January 25th of 2021. So it'd be like 1 year. We release a new song, whatever, but announce that we're signed to Fearless now. So it's like there's like a year mark, and it would be like on the anniversary of us debuting. But there was so much like paperwork and legal stuff in the mix. So then it got pushed back to July. And then that's when we debuted with them with Nightmares. Yeah.
Were you talking with any other labels, or is it only Fearless that you were really interested in?
We were actually shopping to other record labels, and I don't think we had gotten even around to shopping to Fearless yet. They hit us up, and we were all super stoked.
Yeah, especially because we had like 3 labels specifically in mind. We're like, if one of those labels we line something up, we got to do it. And like,
gotta take it.
Yeah, so we had to like email back and forth with like a couple of these other labels that we were talking to. And luckily at that point we had our lawyer, you know, involved in things. So he was like helping kind of like mediate all that stuff, you know, so that to make sure that things didn't like break off any relationships we had been building with anybody, you know, that was trying to like sign us or chat with us. And luckily all those relationships still stayed tight. Like people want to work with us in the future, like whether it's like doing a tour between like the 2 labels with like their artists and stuff like that. Like UNFD was like one of them. And they're like, oh, in the future, like we'll hit some tours and stuff together, like between you guys and some of our artists and all that stuff. And we're like, hell yeah, like that'd be sick, you know? So it's really cool that getting signed isn't like super cutthroat. Nobody's like too crazy, like nobody hates each other. Everybody at some point or another has worked with each other on like a certain project, or you know, whether they worked with like a label in the past, you know, everybody's pretty chill.
That's cool that they want to, you know, not just kind of like cut ties, and they want to collaborate in some degree with you in the future where they can. For sure.
And
we've been on a, you know, label like Fearless, you know, it's quite a respected label, you know, an amazing roster of bands that you're now, you know, next to, your companions with now.
It's awesome. Pretty cool, pretty sweet feeling.
Like growing up, like Fearless bands were always some of my favorites, like Pierce the Veil specifically. So yeah, it's awesome to be on that roster.
And now Pierce the Veil have come back. Have you heard their new single?
Yeah, I'm excited for that album. Hopefully there'll be some kind of tour opportunity for us and them. I'd be stoked on that.
Yeah, if you're listening, Pierce the Veil, then get these guys on board.
We're ready. We're going. Let's go.
Oh yeah.
Well, I believe thanks to COVID, you guys didn't tour, at least not until I Wake, until, was it March 2020?
It was actually this year that we toured.
I would say that was probably the only wrench that was thrown in the plan, kind of, because basically when we were ready to start touring, a lot of tours that were booked before COVID were brought back and had to like get pushed to a later date. So getting onto tours was kind of more tough because of that fact that, all these bands had prior arrangements with like who was going to hit the road. So there wasn't a whole lot of opportunities out there to hit the road. But luckily, I mean, our first two tours were really sick and with awesome bands. So we were really fortunate there.
Well, how was that kind of those first shows for you guys? How did you feel? Because, you've got to think you guys have been writing and sitting on this material for so long, and then also you're building all this buzz, and you've been signed, and you've got this huge following behind you now, and then you go out on your first shows after being a band for what, 2 years?
It was amazing. It was weird to like not have that local phase with this band, but to be like hitting the road on like an East Coast tour and then a whole tour that wrapped around the whole country, and see how many bands are out there, and just like the first time playing in front of a crowd as Until I Wake and stuff, and just to see people singing along, people moshing, then eventually people crowd surfing, and then like taking like tons of photos every day. I'm like, dude, like this is so weird in the best way, because we
surreal.
went from like nothing to like something cool.
You jumped like the first few traditional phases of a band, like saying like, national circuit or a couple of EPs, and then you get signed. You kind of just went all
jumped up. Yeah, we jumped all the phases and just hopped right in.
And then now we're at the point where like we'll go TikTok live or something like that, just chilling out and sitting, and people will be like, "Hello from the UK, hey from the UK," and we're like, "Hell yeah!" Like we might come over there. We're ready. We're ready for the UK.
Where's the furthest place, or I suppose the less like traditional place you've had like people say they're fans from?
There's a lot of people in Spain. I get a lot, like Indonesia, it's like everywhere.
New Zealand,
New Zealand's a big one.
Australia is a big one.
Yeah, it's funny to look through like our analytics and see where people are listening. And I'm like, I've never even heard of these countries. I didn't even know that there was 150 countries. I'm like, 150 countries. There's so many countries in this whole world. I'm like, I don't even know half of them. I'm just like reading through the names. I can't pronounce them. I'm like, okay, this is like awesome and strange.
Yeah. Well, eventually you've got a tour in all those 150 countries, so you better be ready.
Mm-hmm.
To the two listeners in like the country at like the end of the list, just go there and play to two people.
Two people.
Woo! It's a personal show.
Yeah.
Well, as we discussed earlier, in the grand scheme of things, you guys are still relatively new, and you got your buzz really quickly in the grand scheme of things under the circumstances of the pandemic as well. Like you couldn't really promote in the traditional way; it was all basically online. What advice would you give to bands, that were kind of at your stage maybe 2 years ago that kind of want to follow in similar footsteps? What kind of steps do they need to take to kind of break through, I guess?
Spend money and promote.
Your money. Yeah, save and spend your money wisely, all in the right places.
Invest into your craft. It is your career if that's what you want to make. But invest into it. The recording, get really well done recordings done. Get great quality music videos done, photos. It's worth it. It's worth the money.
Yeah, don't rush anything.
Yeah,
find a great videographer, find a great producer. Don't blow your load right off the bat. Like the singles game is what's killing it right now. So plot out how and where, find a good outlet. Like we used Dreambound, which was very helpful for us as a channel to promote our music. Like find something good, set up your releases and like to make sense. Don't just, like I said earlier, don't just throw it at the wall and see if it sticks.
Yeah.
Don't jump the gun and release bad music.
Yeah.
Make sure it's going to be something good.
Worry about one good song, one great song at a time, get it.
And then stay consistent after you start.
Yeah, exactly.
Or else you'll just get swept under the rug and people lose interest if you're not consistent.
For sure.
And I guess some people, even though they don't like to kind of think of it that way, the band is a business. You have to treat it as a business. It's not just, you can just do it whatever you want. There has to be some form of thought and marketing plan in place.
Some structure.
Right. You get out what you put in.
That's exactly right.
Obviously, you guys have got the new album coming out tomorrow at the time of recording, but it'll be out by the time this episode goes out. What else is planned for the rest of 2022 so far? Any plans to come to the UK? I imagine maybe you can't talk about quite a lot of things that that is planned.
We've had some promoters like contacting us recently, but I know that if we go to the UK, it has to be like a support slot on something, something solid that's going to really draw there. Because it might be starting like a decent fan base out there, but I feel like it'd be too scary and too much of a risk for like the label or for like an agent to book us out there financially. And then, have that risk of like playing a show to like, maybe less than 100 kids, even though it'd still be awesome because we'd be in a totally new area And those 100 kids or so would obviously be fans, and that would be great to meet them and play for them. But I feel like, for anybody that we'd need to hit the road with, that would be it. It would have to be like a support slot for us.
Yeah,
exactly. Something that'll put everyone in the hole.
Yeah. But as far as the rest of the year goes, I think our plans are to start the next album and keep looking for the right opportunity to hit the road.
Yeah.
And see what happens.
And what are you kind of thinking? I know obviously it'll be early days, but what are you kind of thinking with this next album? What's been discussed? Or
it's gonna be a country album.
Nice.
I have no idea what to expect yet.
Out of country.
Oh man.
Yeah.
No, it's probably gonna be just as diverse. It's gonna be, just much of a roller coaster.
I think it's gonna get weirder.
Yeah, it's gonna get weird. It's probably gonna get a little bit heavier in a lot of places. It's gonna be cool.
We've seen some feedback in like reviews on the album where this one guy's just like, oh, you can't do that. You can't start off your first album with so many different sounds. It's like, well, we're doing it.
A lot of bands have done it too.
The sooner you know, and the sooner you find out and learn and get used to it, the better. So he needs to go listen to that album with a different mindset.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Who gave that guy the rule book, and why haven't I not seen it?
I was kind of wondering the same thing. Yeah.
Maybe we should have put out the same 13 songs.
Yeah, he would have been in love.
He would have liked it, and that's the main thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's
all important. That matters.
Instead of like the thousands of other people that are enjoying it, or gonna enjoy it, or the few other people that have gotten to hurt early that enjoy it. Let's just make sure that one guy's happy. So. But it's gonna happen. There's weirdly enough, there's gonna be people out there that want to hear the same song 13 times, but like I don't think it's us.
No, we're your wrong band for you.
Listen to an album, the same song over and over again. It's so boring.
Yeah.
It's so boring.
That's the nature of the beast, unfortunately, with like the metal scene, isn't it? You've got the elitists that just want to hear the same album over and over and over again. And if you deviate just a little bit, you're a sellout.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, the best example of like doing the exact opposite of that is Bring Me the Horizon.
Yeah.
They're the biggest. You know what I mean? And they've only become more and more different as they go, but they've done it like the best way. Like you want to hear them put out 10 deathcore albums since their first one, like they would not be playing in front of the crowds that they are now. They've been crazier and crazier, and in my opinion, better and better. Like I love everything that they've ever put out. And I'll always love it, respect it, and everything like that. It took a little bit to get into like their changeover when it first happened, but it was like pretty brief compared to some people sticking to the old stuff. I'm like, no, dude, the new stuff is good. This is good stuff, and they're obviously going even further.
Well, people even kick off when it's like even a less drastic change. Like people don't like how The Devil Wears Prada have kind of changed, and they're still a metalcore band. It's just they've tried different things. Or Architects or Parkway Drive.
Yeah. At least to the metal elitist people, there'll at least be one or two songs that they can enjoy on the album, even if they don't enjoy all of them.
The beauty of an album is to
hopefully they put those 2 or 3 on their playlist and just loop those, put them on repeat.
If they want to hear the same album over and over again, then there's your answer.
There's no point in putting out more than one album if you're just trying to hear the same thing again. Just go back to that one album over and over. Again, you'll be good.
You'll be good.
You'll be all right.
I mean, like personally, like I would prefer if a band put out a different album that sounds completely different, and I don't like it because I can always just go back to the album that I do like, and it's fine. I'd rather that than do the same album over and over and over again.
Or at least like minor changes. You know what I mean? Like a good change. Rather than you just going in every song. It's so similar.
Well, it's like when people kicked off when Korn did that dubstep album. I don't know if you remember when they did that. People hated that, and it was still like a metal album. It's just they had dubstep in it.
Well, people hate our dubstep remix of Sinking Under too. They were like, "Why is this band a dubstep band now?" And we're like, "Calm down, it's just a remix."
We had
one song.
The only thing we had to do with that is the fact that yes, we did want to put out a dubstep little experimental thing there just for fun to put on like different kind of playlists. If you want something at the club for some EDM music, you got an Until I Wake song you could throw on the mix. Like it's not like we wrote it ourselves or something like that. We
guess had what? We're gonna do it again.
EDM is nothing but like breakdowns without a guitar, anyways. So it's fun.
It's the same thing, but different.
I personally love electronic music too. I've been actually listening to a lot more of it lately, personally. It's literally just breakdowns without a guitar. It sounds fucking sick.
I like that stuff.
It's so sick.
And then the Christmas song idea was brought on by Fearless. They wanted us to make a Christmas jam.
Yeah.
And then we're
love
into
that
it
one.
because we're like, why not? Because of the fact that like, that gives them something to listen to for the season. And we've done it. I definitely personally, I want to do like a cover of something, pop out there, that will pop off too, just to have done that and have that under our belt, at some point or another, because it's fun and it makes you less boring and, willingly, like, obviously, clearly you're down to like have fun and experiment and try shit. So,
Yeah. If
So
they don't like it, then tough shit.
So that's the exclusive. The second album is called Dubstep Until I Wake. Dubstep album.
That's right.
Dubstep country.
Yeah.
That'll be an interesting mix.
Yes.
yeah, we're going to have the baby on it. Morgan Wallen.
Fucking wish.
Post Malone's going to be somewhere on there.
A cover of Broadway Girls.
That'd be actually pretty dope.
Some Dolly Parton in there as well. Mix it up.
Yeah. Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for your time, guys. Before I let you go and enjoy the rest of your day, any final words? Anything you want to plug? Anything you want to say?
Go listen to our album. Go subscribe to our Instagrams and our Facebooks and our social medias. See us when we play live. Buy some merch.
All that.
All the stuff.
Listen to the album front to back. See this. So So if you didn't listen to it front to back, you gotta listen to it front to back and enjoy it thoroughly.
Yeah. Someone just asked me on a post. They said, "What song should I listen to first?" I said, "Listen to the first song, and then listen to all the way to the last song."
There's so much, variety on there. You can't just listen to like one particular song. You have to listen to them all.
Listen to them all, then pick out your favorites, and then you can loop those favorites or just start it from front to back again.
Or listen to the whole thing front to back over and over again.
Yeah.
Because the album's sequenced in that way for a reason. You've got to listen to it from front to back.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
It only feels right that way.
Yeah.
Thank you again, guys. Best of luck with the album. I'm sure it's going to get loads of great things for you. Hopefully you come over to the UK soon. Yeah.
I'm saying before the middle of next year, we'll be in the UK.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
I think that's
I'll keep an eye out.
That's a good thing to say. Yeah.
Sweet. Thank you, man.
That's a goal. Thank you.
Thanks,
thanks
Thank
for
you.
having us.
Take care.
Peace.
All right. You as well.
And that's it. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, please consider supporting the podcast in any way that you can. We have a Patreon where you can get access to each episode a week early, along with some other perks, a merch store, or you can leave a review wherever you're listening to this. You can also follow me on social media or subscribe to the newsletter where I'll send out each episode to you via email, along with regular playlists. All this can be found at itsnotaphase.co.uk. That's itsnotaphase.co.uk. Thanks again for listening, and remember, it's not a phase, it's a lifestyle.